Hi everyone, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for visiting with me. Today I want to talk about something that's been bothering me for a long time, and lately it's really weighing on me. And honestly, it's something that affects creators, viewers, and especially survivors of trauma. And I don't think I'm alone here in my feelings I'm about to express to you. And I'm not the only one that's made a video like this. It's the fact that on platforms like YouTube, we are not allowed to say the words for very real things. Words that describe real trauma, real experiences, real pain. Of course, I can't say any of those words to let you know what words and terms I'm talking about, but I think most of you already know, and if you don't know, you'll probably figure it out by the end of this video. Instead, we're forced to use euphemisms, initials, spell things out, or give them cutesy nicknames like they're some scary secret. The R word, DV, someone getting into the self-checkout line, SA, CSA, CA. And I have to be honest, that frustrates me deeply. Pretending these things don't exist, that doesn't make them go away. It doesn't. Survivors live these realities every single day. And when we can't even say the words, it can feel like their experiences are being diminished. And it's not just about advertisers being uncomfortable, okay? It's not about that. It's also about suppression. When a video uses these real words, YouTube suppresses those videos. That means it may not be monetized, but more importantly, it may not be recommended, shared, or pushed out to the audience that needs to see it or wants to see it. So it's not just about money. Far from it. It's about silencing important messages, survivor stories, educational content, and awareness videos are all impacted. And that to me is a huge problem, because these are real things happening to real people, and suppressing the conversation, again, it doesn't make them go away. Those things exist, whether we say the word or not. Let's be real. When we're forced to use euphemisms, it's not just inconvenient, it can actually hurt survivors. Imagine that you're someone who survived, let's say, SA. Remember, I can't say it. God forbid we acknowledge reality. You're trying to find content that talks about it openly. But instead, everything is coded. People say the R word instead of what it is. Or they say grape. People spell out the forbidden A word like it's a magical evil word. We're not trying to summon Beetlejuice or Candyman. We're just trying to talk about real life experiences that some viewers can truly benefit from. Listening to stories and advice and just knowing there are people out there that care. It sends a subtle message. We know this happened, but it's too uncomfortable to say. And that can feel dismissive. It can make survivors feel invisible. It diminishes the gravity of their experiences. And it's just not fair. And honestly, that's disrespectful. It is. Survivors deserve to have their experiences named properly. These words carry weight. They validate lived experiences. Using abbreviations or, again, euphemisms erode that validation. Another thing that really frustrates me is the shame that this type of suppression attaches to these words. And let's be clear, the survivors of these crimes, of these misdeeds, are not the ones who should feel ashamed. They should never feel ashamed, and they shouldn't be made to feel ashamed because the words are being hidden. Yet that's exactly what happens when we're forced to dance around words, to abbreviate them, to pretend that they're too scary to say. Instead of calling out these horrible acts and the people responsible, we hide behind codes and initials. Who are we protecting? Who are we protecting by doing that? And who benefits? Certainly not survivors. Certainly not people trying to raise awareness. People trying to share their story. And yes, I realize that even in this video, I'm using codes and abbreviations. Partly to drive home a point and partly because I can't say them. I want people to see this video. I don't care if it's monetized. I don't care about those few pennies I'm going to earn. I don't care if it triggers not advertiser friendly flags. I want people to see it, hear it, and understand just how ridiculous it is that we have to talk about these real horrible things with cutesy little nicknames and codes. It's bothersome. We should be able to call these things what they are and call out the people who do them. We should be able to say the words out loud. And we should be able to call out the people responsible for the garbage that they've done. Without dancing around it, without playing with it, we should be able to express our feelings and not worry who it makes feel a little uncomfortable. Because guess what? Life is uncomfortable. What we're doing by censoring those words is letting the people responsible for these crimes feel safe. And they don't deserve to feel safe. They don't get to feel safe. They took safety away. They don't deserve safety themselves. And that's just a small part of the picture. Again, these are real things. Real things happening to real people in this world every single day. Pretending the words themselves are too scary to say, that doesn't make it stop. It doesn't make assault disappear. It doesn't make these horrible things end. It doesn't protect anyone. All it does is make it harder to talk about, harder to educate, and harder to validate survivors. We need to call things what they are. The words themselves carry truth. They tell the world that these are not abstract concepts. They are human experiences that demand recognition and action. I want to be clear about something, a trigger warning. A trigger warning serves a purpose. It lets the audience know what's coming so that they can make a choice. A choice. Step away, prepare themselves, or decide not to engage at all. That's important because it respects people's boundaries. But here's the problem. When platforms censor content entirely, when they force creators to code these difficult words, abbreviate, or avoid the topic, it removes choice. The choice was made. And that's especially harmful for survivors. Many of these people, they had choices taken away from them. In real life, during the act and afterwards. And now online, they're denied the choice to engage with content that validates their experiences, content that can help them, content that educates others or raises awareness. All to appease advertisers. And look, I know the importance of advertisers. I do. But without content creators, there's nothing to advertise on. But it's all about the bottom line, isn't it? And I honestly don't see the benefit in that. Not in these types of videos. The cost isn't money. It's silenced voices, diminished awareness, and further harm to survivors. Censoring these words and forcing creators to, again, code or abbreviate or spell them out, it's not just about advertisers or platform rules. It's another way to silence survivors. And survivors have been silenced enough. They've been silenced enough. Every time we hide the words, we're taking away the opportunity for survivors to see their experiences acknowledged openly. We're making it harder for their voices to be heard, for their stories to be validated, and for awareness to grow. It's harmful to that community. Some survivors are looking for a safe place online where they can understand that how they feel about their experience is valid. Because, they may not have an outlet in real life. Their experiences may have caused them to withdraw from the outside world. Sorry. And online, they can find communities or individuals with shared experiences or similar experiences. People who understand, who can relate, who can offer support. No one should use the internet as a safe space, but there are spaces within the big world of the internet that can help. And with the platform as big as YouTube, I think that they can loosen up on the terms that are censored. I really do think that. That connection is real. That validation is powerful. And yet, when platforms censor these words, it actively limits survivors' access to those communities. It denies them one of the few spaces where they might feel understood. And honestly, that is far more important than keeping advertisers happy. Advertisers need to suck it up and realize the world is real and bad things happen. The well-being, understanding, and validation of survivors should matter more than any bottom line. It's not such a big community that it's going to affect money. I can't speak for every survivor, but I can say this. Having to dance around words, having to use abbreviations or tiptoe around language that describes real trauma, it's exhausting. It really is. Language matters. Words are powerful. And when we hide them, we're hiding reality. We're hiding the truth. Survivors deserve their experiences to be named. Name it for what it is. They deserve to be heard. They deserve to be validated. And they don't deserve to be suppressed. Not being able to say these words feels triggering in a different way. And the kind that doesn't come with a warning. Because it communicates that survivors' experiences are too uncomfortable to acknowledge at all. We shouldn't talk about this in public. No, that's not okay. Imagine the discomfort the survivors felt when they were violated and feel today because they can't find acknowledgement. They can't find support because everything they experienced is considered a dirty word. So what can we do? Prioritize people over profits. Again, it's not that big of an audience that it's going to affect profits that much. Survivors over ad dollars. Normalize saying the words, not sensationalized, not exploitative, just truthful, just honest. Platforms need to listen. If guidelines are silencing truth, that's a problem for everyone, not just creators. At the end of the day, we can't hide from reality. We can't pretend trauma doesn't exist. And we can't keep forcing creators to speak in riddles just to appease advertisers or avoid suppression. Again, it's not fair to survivors. Words matter. Again, they matter. They carry the weight of experiences. Saying them validates lived experiences. I can't say it enough. And help survivors feel seen. Survivors deserve nothing less, and so do the people trying to understand, learn, and help. We can't help survivors if we can't even say the words for the things they suffered through. How can we help them if the words are viewed as so shameful? If we hide behind codes, euphemisms, or abbreviations, spellings, nicknames, rhymes, we're not protecting anyone. We're not educating anyone, but maybe the perpetrators, we're protecting them, aren't we? We're not validating survivors. We're silencing their experiences and making it harder for them to feel seen, understood, and supported. Saying the words may be uncomfortable. It may make advertisers nervous, but it's necessary. Because until we can say the words, we can't fully acknowledge reality. Not in this regard. And until we acknowledge reality, we can't help survivors. Not honestly, not fully. It's irresponsible and childish for platforms to forbid these words. Real people are experiencing real trauma every day, and silencing the language that we use to talk about it does nothing to protect anyone. It doesn't. Instead of helping, it infantilizes the conversation. It dumbs it down. It treats adults like they can't handle reality, and it puts survivors at a disadvantage, denying them the validation, awareness, and community that they deserve. Platforms should be creating spaces where truth can be spoken responsibly, not hiding it behind codes and euphemisms and nicknames just to keep advertisers comfortable and happy. Sometimes it's not about the advertisers. It doesn't always have to be about ads. But anyway, thank you for listening. I know I was kind of repetitive in this, but I really just wanted to drive home the message. But anyway, that's all I really have to say on the matter. I'm sorry again if this seemed a little redundant. I'm just really frustrated, and I just wanted to make sure that my feelings were expressed adequately. Again, thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to everyone later. Bye. I have to go make a video where I have to put everything in code.